Jesse is going to start us with team news, and then we'll start with Adam after that, if that's okay.
Can I take this, Jordan?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Yeah, I just want to start on the injury front like normal. We've had a lot more guys in training this week, so Adam, Luke, and Luis have all entered training and are eligible for the weekend. Still, Junior's probably a couple weeks behind, the same with Luke Ayling, although he had a visit to his surgeon down in London, and the surgeon said that he's ahead of schedule and looking really good, and he just needs a little bit more time. And then Stuart Dallas I saw on the pitch today moving around a little bit, so that was an exciting moment for us. And then Danny Vanderhoovel is still working on his neck, but looking positive as well. But we've got more options this week, which is what we felt would be the case last week. Good.
That's really good news.
Yeah.
Clearly, Jesse, what about Louis in particular? You only saw 12 minutes of the game time. How's he looking now? To say that he's eligible, that's a big step forward, yeah?
Sorry, you're saying Luis?
Luis, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a big step forward.
Yeah. So when he picked up the hamstring injury, it was from a contact, which is not the same as when it's from a non-contact, right? And then what the recovery is like can be different as well. So we've been cautious with him, but he's felt so good that we introduced him into training, and then he was like a neutral player one day, and then yesterday he was all in, and he looked fantastic. So he's obviously not 100% fit, but I still think there's a good possibility that he can help us with limited minutes.
Of course, you had a really good win at the weekend, so the decision to change things around, is that a big one in your mind, or is it not a headache for you?
No, I think, first of all, clearly our focus is on this match and how important it is, and staying in the moment is always really important. But, even watching now the draw last night and knowing that in 2 weeks we have 5 matches in 2 weeks, that we have to have a full roster squad available of guys that can be ready to perform at every moment, that will be important. And so we purposely have tried to build more depth into our squad for moments like this. And I always get excited when guys get opportunities, because everyone here works really hard and everyone deserves chances, and it's just about finding the right moments.
What about Southampton? Not a great result, obviously, for them, or performance last time out. This game last year was a particularly poor performance. I know it's got no relevance to you, Jesse, but one of the players we spoke to, Diego Llorente, said, we don't want to do what we did last time. Win one week and lose at Southampton.
Yeah, for sure.
This is, for fans and what have you, this is a big moment.
Yeah, I mean, for us in general, I don't think we've changed too much on the week. There wasn't, we went through the game against Wolves, and we talked about the things that we thought we could have done better and how it applies to what Southampton will be. We're not overly satisfied with just the 3 points in the first match. Obviously, it was a good first step, but we know we have a lot of work to do, and I think the mentality of the group to improve, get better, and seize every moment is definitely there. So. And for me personally, I know that going down to Southampton won't be easy, that it's going to be very hot, and that will be a factor in the match. And so we have to manage that well. And then we have to know that for a club like us where we are right now, every game in this league is a massive challenge, and we have to treat it as such. So we're not getting ahead of ourselves, and we know how important each match is, and certainly in the moment now, this match. And if we can find a way to come away with something out of Southampton, that'll help us keep momentum moving in the right direction.
You mentioned the weather there, Jess. It's the greatest occupation here, or preoccupation in England it is, but it is unusual at the moment.
Yeah.
How has it limited training, or how has it affected training for you ahead of Southampton?
Well, one thing about football in the U.S. or sport in the U.S. in the summer is it's hot. It's always hot. It's blistering. And so there are things that I've learned about how to handle fatigue, heat, and managing matches that way. When I was in New York, the discussion was always, well, can you play pressing football in the heat in the summer? And actually our record during matches that was over 90 degrees or 85, which is like 30 degrees, 28 degrees here, was really, really strong. So, it's about being aggressive in the right moments. It'll be about managing the mentally what the fatigue will be, and then making sure that the players that we bring off the bench will be ready to go. So this, I think, is a moment where 5 subs, if we use them the right way, can be really impactful and helpful into the match.
And just finally for me, Jesse, the 49ers were there in force last weekend. Have you had much discussions with them, and what's their opinion of what's happened this summer and how things are?
Yeah, I mean, I would say Andre and Parag had a really good talk with the team last week, Friday. I always, when it comes to the way I think about ownership, I always like having the energy of the owners around the team, because I think when they see the passion of the owners, they realize that they're not just investors, but they're teammates. And so I think that that's definitely the case with Andrea and when the 49ers come. And so I think they're really good people. I think they're really supportive of Andrea, and they have a really good relationship with him, and there's real symmetry to how we do everything. They are not as much a part of the daily routine of what we're doing here as a team and as a club, but when they come, for sure they're still a big part of our family. So yeah, that's how I would describe that.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yeah.
Damien?
Hi Jesse. Brendan Harrison made a fantastic start to his Leeds career. Is he still claiming the goal? How's he been this week?
Yeah, he's still claiming the goal, yes. Which, if you look at it, I do think it hits him in the leg, so I don't know if they want to change it or whatever. But yeah, I think Brendan showed his qualities and in a similar way that he showed them all preseason. Speaking to all the new players who hadn't played in a Prem match yet, they all acknowledge the fact that the level is very high and the demands are very high, but they all enjoyed the challenge. And Brendan, I think, is one of those. So, physically managing the game, the pace of the game, the demands, tactically being sharp and clear and committing to the match in all ways will continue to be a challenge in the games in this league. But all 4 of those guys, including Brendan, and I've already spoken about what a good learner he is and how adaptable he is, but I think all 4 guys are going to get better and better. And that's the goal for the entire group and the team.
It's your first taste of a transfer window here in England in the Premier League. Is it different from abroad? You're linked with thousands of names, it seems.
Yeah, I would say, listen, everything here, the media attention is 10 times what it is at most places, right? Which lets you know it's important. It's important here. But for me, it's about just having a plan and then working with the people in the club and the ownership to execute the plan. And I'm thankful that Andrea has supported our ideas so heavily, and I think that also the discussions, the challenging of each other, the finding a way to come to exactly what we agree what the plan is, and then executing the plan has been at the highest level that I've been a part of. So I'm very, again, thankful. Because I know one thing I don't like is when they say my transfers, right? They're our transfers. We work through this together, and I know it seems like they're mine because some of the players have played for me before, but please don't print that. Print that it's the Leeds United transfers, and it's the leadership of Leeds United that are making these decisions. And I think that in that case, why I think it's important is because every transfer, every player has varying success. Some come in and have really start really well and continue so. Some take a little bit more time, but it's really important that in the process that there's no one person that's responsible for any success or failure based on anything that might happen, and that we give every player and every decision a chance to thrive and succeed the best that they can. So you have to be a team player in this business, and I've appreciated the fact that here, working with Andrea, working with Victor, and with Angus, that we are really close and really aligned with a lot of things.
Will there be more before the window closes?
I think we've done, I would say this, we're always actively thinking. We've done a really good job of acting early and then giving these players the best chance to integrate as smoothly and quickly as possible. And it now puts us in a position where, as we're starting our season and evaluating our performances, we can look more carefully at exactly what we might need moving forward. So I think that we are being very aggressive in evaluating what's out there. And then, again, I said this after the match, really trying to find the right fit. More than just adding a position or a number or a player, really trying to make sure that every decision we make is the right decision.
Hi, Jesse.
Hi.
Hiya. How much difference does it make getting that first 3 points on the board in the first game in terms of going forward? And what would it be like to get if you to get 6 already out of 2 games in terms of like a platform to launch from, and compared to like last season, obviously it was sort of the tail of it.
Well, the 3 points was, I think, really important for the guys to feel the positive momentum and energy and be validated for the work. It also, for me, allows us to be a little bit more critical and to really make sure that we're looking at what things were good, what things we need to improve on, which we've tried to do, and then to see if we can apply that at a high level again at Southampton. And the goal will be to just, even regardless of results, try to move ourselves forward in every moment, in every match, and every week. So I think we did that well in preseason. I think Wolves was a much better representation of where we're trying to move our team in terms of tactically and style of play and everything, but there's still so much work to be done.
And Dan James will also be back again
Yeah.
this weekend. How's he, and how much of a boost is that for you to have him back? You're going to have quite a few options in terms of looking out wide now and what you might do about it, you don't know, and things like that.
Dan played 90 minutes in the 21s game against Derby, and I thought he played well, and so he's fit, he's strong, he's ready to go. I think it'll be a big option for us to have him come from the bench. So that's a guy that's 100% ready, and I think that's the role that we'll use him in for this weekend. And then Dan will continue to integrate, and we'll find moments for him to be also on the pitch from the start, because he's a really important player for us, has a lot of flexibility and quality, and so excited to integrate Dan more and more. And we tried to get the balance right in preseason, where he was with the first team in some matches, but also to give opportunities for other guys to work toward being prepared for the first match. But now, I think Dan's ready.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Jesse. Quite surprising to hear that Stuart Dallas is out on the pitch, is moving about a bit. So we don't get carried away. Can you give us some context as to what that means?
Yeah, I think it's much too early to start talking about the prognosis and a timetable for Stuart. But any of you who know Stuart know that his energy and his positivity and his personality is so amazing. And the way that he applies that even to this situation, like you see him suffering when he's got the electrodes on his legs, cranking it as absolutely high as he can, and he only knows how to go 1,000%. And so I think he's learning a little bit how to manage this, because injury like that can go up and down, but he's been still a big presence in the team. He's here every day, and he wants to be around the team as much as possible, and he still has such a positive impact on the group. So yeah, I think because of all of those personality traits, it gives him a really good chance to come back as good as ever. So that's what we're all pushing and hoping for.
You touched on the 21s there briefly with Dan. Of course, Matteo Joseph grabbed a lot of headlines last week. Can you give us more information on Matteo and his progression? We haven't talked about him.
I think Matteo has developed a lot since I've been here. He understands pressing, and he understands how to play with intensity. He also has quality and goal scoring knack. So I think because of his intelligence, because of his quality, and because of his adaptation, he has potential to be a really important player here. So I think, the 4-goal match obviously is a big statement. But I think, I think the 21s are built to have a good season. And I think Scoobs is doing a really good job with them. That's what we call Michael Scubala, so that everyone knows that's Scoobs. He's done a good job already. I think he's been eager to learn from what we're trying to achieve here, and I think the work and the symmetry of us and what we've done together we've had a really good start.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to ask the transfer question a slightly different way, do you see any areas of the team or the squad that you think they're light as it stands?
I wouldn't, obviously I've said a long time that we've been evaluating for the right striker. So, but Patrick being fully fit obviously helps us in that area. We also have some flexibility with, Rodri can play there and Dan can play there at times. But yeah, I think that we know that we have to add. We have some good, again, with Mateo, who we just spoke about, with Sonny Perkins. We have some young strike, and obviously Joffe, but Joffe I consider part of the first group. We have some good young strikers. So a lot of it is also trying to look at from a profile, what age do we want, and that we don't want to suffocate some of the young players having opportunities moving forward in the next 1, 2, 3 years. So it's trying to find the right age profile and the right player profile, and most importantly, the right person to come into the team. And at striker, that's not so easy. That's not so easy. The way that I like to play the game, we ask a lot from the strikers to work hard, to press. It's a very demanding position in the way that I like to play. So we're trying to find the right one.
You've got Joe Robles in.
Yeah.
Why did you go for Joe, and what will that mean for Chris Classen this season?
Yeah, I think the role for Joel is to really help support Ilan and Chris, but to compete with them and to push them every day. Obviously, our belief in Ilan is at the highest level, and even I think with the performance that he had against Wolves, it says everything. I think he's grown a lot, and since I've been here, I've challenged him to become more of a leader, more of a vocal presence, and he's responding really well to that. And I think a guy with experience like Joel can help him. That relationship will be important. Then the goal is to have Chris as the number 2, but he has to earn it. Right, and so in this situation, I think it's healthy competition. I think Joel is already, we've seen, is a quality goalkeeper, but more importantly, a very good person. He's here for all the right reasons, which was really important to us. And he knows I've been very open with him, with the other 2 goalkeepers, and with the whole entire team. That Joel's here not just to support them, but to push them. But to do it in a way where the goalkeeper group, along with Marcos, is really strong and really united. And so far, I think that they've done that at a really high level.
Thanks, Jesse.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to move on to the embargoed section, so if you can wave or turn off